Click record. Right then, Matt. So yeah, basically, this term 2 for my masters is a multimedia journalism course, and coursework 1 is to basically create a professional style sport article. And,
okay.
As my dad grew up in Histon, and I've been to loads of games with him, and including the Leeds game, I thought it'd be a great story to tell, because I feel like it's one of those games that should be a lot more well known than it is. I feel like obviously the Histon know all about it. It's the best result ever. Leeds fans will know it as arguably their worst result ever. And I just don't feel like just generic football fans really know a lot about it.
In a way, I agree with you. I mean, every year it gets to round 2 and things like that, and people say, "Oh, it pops up on Twitter or something like that," but it doesn't get the national press sort of bubbling, or BBC don't pick it up, or some of the other channels don't pick it up. I think maybe because that year the FA Cup actually was on ITV, so I know the what would you call it? Some of the rights have changed and whatever, so it's almost like swept under the carpet. And they always go, "Is it the Robbie Radford goal for Hereford or something like that?" And bits and bobs, but it is what it is, and people remind me of stuff, and the people that know how big a game it was.
Yeah, fantastic. I think an issue is there's no real good highlights online of it, and especially because of the conditions that day. Going back and reading match reports and stuff, everyone was saying how surprised they were that the game went along to begin with. I mean, I don't remember the weather being that bad, but then again, I was only little and about 1,000 people surrounding me, so yeah, I was quite bunched in. First question I've got here is what were the feelings around the team during the last training session before the game?
Yeah, quite confident at the time. If I remember rightly, we were on a real good run in the league. I think that was probably about the 7th or 8th game in a game. I think we went about 13 games or something like that where we were unbeaten. So we were in real good form. We knew no one really enjoyed playing against us at that point. I think sort of we had a good season the season before, and things had just come to the boil after the start of the season. It was sort of October, November time, or whenever it was, but we really hit good form then. So I think everyone was confident that we could compete more. We weren't overconfident that we think, oh, we could easily beat them, but we knew we could compete because in the previous round we beat quite a good Swindon team, which again doesn't really get much mention, and we beat them convincingly. And we knew Leeds, I think, in the previous round, their main centre forward Beckford got injured or was out with a hamstring or something like that. So again, it was all there for us to take on and challenge them in the right ways. Again, not being overconfident, but there's definitely belief there for us.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was probably from my memory anyway, the strongest Histon side there's ever been. I think that season we finished 3rd, got into the playoffs, narrowly lost to Torquay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the squad we had was pretty fantastic for not just that level, but for any level around those sort of leagues. I think that could have been a competitive squad in League Two if we had got promoted, with Danny Wright, Gareth Gwilym, Naisby in goal, Midson, Josh Simpson. Just so many names in that squad.
Yeah.
Yourself, of course, as well, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot of the players, that was the end of it really, towards the end of the season. As soon as that playoff was done, a lot of the players were sort of already looking or getting offers elsewhere and things like that and higher. And to be fair, they good luck to them. Do you know what I mean? It was that's where we were at. And you look back now, and Josh Simpson went on to Crawley, had a good cut run. Jack Midson, obviously, AFC Wimbledon, same as Gigi. Mitchell King and Patrick went on elsewhere. So, yeah, it was it was great. What I would say is that I think it was on the Sunday, we trained on the Saturday at the ground, and there was a vibe there. I think the FA Cup was down at the ground, so there was that real feeling that the FA Cup was in town, and it was just trying to continue our league form into that game on the Saturday, knowing what we could achieve.
Yeah, definitely. Funnily enough, my next question was going to be, what was the feeling the night before the game? So obviously it's a Saturday night, because I think the game was on a Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously you can't, have a couple of drinks, have a, do what a normal sort of Saturday night would be. So what, maybe when you weren't around the other boys, all cheering each other on, all that sort of thing, when you were just sort of at home, what were your sort of personal thoughts about what result you could actually achieve the next morning?
Again, it was what I would say at Histon, we had a great team spirit, and we relied on everyone. It wasn't about necessarily an individual brilliance or a one-off thing. It was going to be the collective team that got us through that game. And like I said before, we were in that period where you just roll on. Everyone knew everyone's jobs. Behind the scenes, the set pieces, we knew defensively and attackingly we could cause problems. And don't get me wrong, we didn't play 100% like Pep Guardiola football, but we played effective football, and we knew that teams couldn't cope with it with the players we had on the pitch. So that was just the mentality. It was just about doing the job, putting a shift in, and seeing where it could take us, really.
Yeah, 100%. It was far from a smash and grab that. Yeah. So moving on to Steve Fallon, obviously he'd been there for around 10 years, I think, at that point. What were the last words he sort of gave to the team just before you went out onto the pitch?
It's hard to remember, really. It was,
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
I don't think he didn't really give much of a. Usually, he gives his normal team talk and tells us it. Literally, that game was all about doing the basics and what we knew we could do. No one was individually highlighted. It was all about the team, and the team on the day, I think, shone through doing what we did. And that if there was probably one game in the whole period of Histon that emphasised it was a team thing. I mean, I got man of the match because I scored the goal, but there were 10 other man of the matches alongside me in that game. Do you know what I mean? I remember Gareth Gwilym heading one off the line. Nezzy made a couple of saves. We could have, even the subs that come on, they impacted the game. And people just worked their socks off. So, and that, I suppose, yeah, Bowers would have been just do the same, do the basics. And Becky would have emphasised all that as well, John Beck. But yeah, no, Fallon was never a ranter and a raver, really. He was more of a he gave us belief in that we could win.
Brilliant.
It was probably more just have no regrets.
Yeah, totally.
Just have no regrets.
That leads into my next question, which I think you have probably answered. So I was just going to ask, amongst the players, was it more of a once in a lifetime opportunity sort of game, or did you all sort of just think just another game? We could be playing Salisbury or whoever, Forest Green Rovers, I think were in the league at the time. You could just be playing one of them. It's not Leeds United. You're just playing just 11 men. And I feel like from what you've said, that was the mentality. It is just another game. Let's go out and do what we do.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my dad and winning what was it, the championship or winning cups and being in cup finals and things like that. Whereas I remember Leeds in the Premier League before, like 10 years before or whenever it was. But we knew that wasn't the Leeds United that were in the Premier League. We knew that we had a fighting chance, and obviously we had the confidence from the Swindon game. And it was, if we bring our A game, they've got to compete. We knew they wouldn't like the conditions too much, and it was in favour of us. But yeah, that was the mentality. Everything else around it, the TV cameras, the crowd, the bigger crowd, obviously their fans. But it was, again, it was all about us as a team doing our basics, doing our jobs, and coming through the other side of it.
Fantastic. And yeah, speaking of the fans, that I imagine was arguably definitely the biggest crowd you played in front of at Histon. What was that sort of feeling? Because obviously, normal league game, you wouldn't get anywhere close to that sort of attendance. But playing in front of a packed out, even overflowing sort of stadium, what kind of motivation did that give to the team?
Oh, it was massive on the day. Obviously, they had that edge, but I think that's probably where the Leeds are a big club, but their fans are well renowned as passionate and all the rest of it. And they were, to be fair, most of them, they were great on the day. They came down in numbers and supported their team, but it sort of almost gave us that belief that we could, and we wanted to sort of turn them and send them home packing. We'd had biggish crowds there. We'd had going back a couple of years, we'd had Cambridge United, the derbies with them in the FA Trophy, and also the league game. So we knew that we'd been in scenarios where the stadium was packed, but you're right in saying it had that extra edge because it was Leeds, and their fans are very passionate and loud. But yeah, we revelled in it, really.
Fantastic. And just moving on to the last question I've got here is, what do you think the fallout of the result was? What do you think the result did for the profile of Histon being the quintessential small village team?
Well, it was everything that the FA Cup was meant to be, I think. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not a local Histon lad, but I never knew where Histon was until when I was playing at Cambridge City, and it was always, even then, it was known as the village team, and obviously they were going up through the football pyramid next to us and got level to us and then beyond. So no one really knew where Histon was, and like I say, it was the dream of the FA Cup, the village team against the previous champions of England, sort of thing. So how it elevated Histon, yeah, it put it on the map. I hope people remember it. I hope people remember more, not necessarily the FA Cup game, but what was achieved in that period. Even before I got to the club, what they achieved was incredible from where they were. And some of the people, like Neil Kennedy and Ian Cambridge and Adi Cambridge, who sort of almost fell away just at the end there. They were great servants to the club. But they left their footmark in the dressing room, even though they weren't there. There was that discipline and all the rest of it that we knew what playing for Histon was all about, really.
Brilliant. And do you think that result also maybe elevated the profile of some of the players as well? Obviously, you mentioned how after that season there was sort of a bit of an exodus at Histon where everyone was sort of going on to bigger and better things. Do you think that result gave notice to the teams above, thinking, hold on, some of these boys are actually the real deal?
Yeah, it was almost, we were we didn't mean to as players, but we almost put ourselves in the shop window to say we were part-time semi-professional footballers playing in even is now mainly a professional league, and we enjoyed that. We were always the underdog because we were part-time. So when we play Wrexham, or we play Cambridge, or we play sort of Torquay and Burton and Mansfield, and these are big established football league clubs, we were always the underdog, and we sort of thrived on that in some degree. And yeah, it was that sort of scenario, really.
Fantastic. Well, that's everything I've got for now. So
okay, yeah, keep
time.
Cool. And I'll probably beat it around the bush a little bit, but if you need, just let me know and we can set this up again if you need a bit more going forward.
Oh, fantastic! That's great. I've actually reached out to Danny Naisbitt and Jack Midson as well, and both of them seem quite keen as well. So if I could get all three of you, that would be fantastic.
Cool. I did something not similar to this, but there was a lad, and he was in Australia, and he's a Leeds fan, and he did it sort of from Leeds' point of view. I don't know if you see it. I can't remember the name of the book, but I did an interview, and I'll message you and send you a picture of the copy of the book. So maybe there's some information in there that you might want to read. I'm not saying copy it, but it's sort of again about the day and things like that. So I'll send that over to you.
That sounds great. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, I'll let you go. Hope lockdown hasn't been too stressful on you or anything.
Only the beard's grown, but
that's... I'm trying to do the same, but yeah, not to that extent.
No worries.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you so much again.
Any problems, let us know.
Will do.
Cheers.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.